Hello everyone and welcome back to My Opinion. In this video, I'll be reviewing the squads that India have named in their tour of Australia, the ODI and T20I squads. Let's get into this review. There's been a question in the last few months as to whether Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma will be part of the plans for India in the World Cup. According to me, they should be. Starting off with Rohit Sharma, he's got a fantastic captaincy record. And honestly, as for his records as a batsman, I feel in the last couple of years with the approach that he's adopted in the power play in white ball cricket, it's where he's often got to start. He's got starts and he's thrown them away. He's got to that 41 mark, let's say, in a one-day match, and then he's thrown the starts away. But I feel he's good enough to convert those with the record he's got as a captain and as a player. I feel he is good enough to continue in the squad and be captain. And Virat Kohli has played the role that he has played for many years. He's the best batsman in the history of this format. So you've got both those two proven players. I feel they should be in the squad at least for now. And another reason why I think they should be in the squad is because the World Cup we played in South Africa, I think it's the most difficult place to gauge conditions. Even in the SA20, as you go between venues, the conditions are changing. And also, depending on the time of day matches are played, in a one-day match, you could say between a morning match and an afternoon match, the conditions may change. So when you've got a difficult place to gauge conditions, two experienced, proven players, having them in the 11, I'm sure it would do good for you because they've still been performing. I feel they've given them an ultimatum because Shubman Gill has been made a test captain. And I didn't think I was surprised that he was brought into the T20I side given the template they had, but he didn't make the T20I vice captain and now the ODI captain. So they've clearly got a plan to make him the all format captain at some point. And if you're looking at the squad that they have picked for this series, the ODI series first, I'll be discussing two 11s. I'll read the 11s out, then I'll discuss the intricacies of those. So the first 11 being Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli 3, KL Rahul 4, Shreyas Iyer 5. Now, I've said this many times. If the second wicket falls before the 12th over, I would send out KL Rahul. If the second wicket falls after the 12th over, there is grounds to send Shreyas Iyer depending on the situation. As a general rule, however, before those situations arise, or let's say if the second wicket falls after the 12th over, until that situation arises, I would rather send KL Rahul at 4 and Shreyas Iyer at 5. So then you've got Akshar Patel at 6, Washington Sundar number 7, Ashdeep Singh 8, Mohammad Siraj 9, Kuldeep Yadav 10, Prasidh Krishna number 11. Now, I've put an asterisk next to Washington Sundar's name because Hardik Pandya is not available for this tour. They have selected Nitish Kumar Reddy in his place. And I'm not disrespecting Nitish Kumar Reddy, but he's at this point in time, he's someone who can score 40 runs and he will 5 overs. Whatever performance he gives, if they play him, that in my view would only be elevated when Hardik Pandya returns. So they may look to play Nitish Kumar Reddy, or they may try and keep the 3-spinner theory to some extent. However, on that topic, now they've not selected Varun Chakravarti in the ODI squad, but they have selected him in the T20I squad. Another thing being Jadeja, I don't know why they've not selected him in the squad because what I heard was that in Australia would you want to load the team with spinners, but in the Champions Trophy, Kuldeep Yadav, Varun Chakravarti are your attacking spinners, Akshar Patel, Jadeja are your containing spinners, and you select them keeping in mind their batting ability. So Jadeja doesn't only fill the role of a spinner on this side. Now, Washington Sundar was named in the Champions Trophy squad, and he hasn't featured much for India of late in ODI. So when Jadeja, in my view, he would have been available. I don't know why they haven't selected him when he's been playing that role for a good while. You could have still fielded 3 fast bowlers and fielded 3 spinners if you wanted to do that. You've had batting into at least 7. And so that is one way they could go, but I don't understand why they've said they don't want to overload the team with spinners, but you've not selected a guy who was in the first 11 as an all-rounder. So this is one choice they could go with. Or the second choice being some venues, for example, in Pretoria, you may not want to play a second front, or you may not want to play a frontline spinner if that player can't bat. So in that case, what they could do is, let's say if India are 2-0 up, if you're playing in a batting friendly venue that it may not be as conducive for the spinners in the third match, what they could do is test out playing Akshar Patel and Washington Sundar in this squad. Then you can win Nitish Kumar Reddy number 8 and then play the 3 frontline fast bowlers. And still, I'd say in that case, with Jadeja in the squad, you could have tried that combination, and he's got more of a chance of starting than Washington Sundar, so I don't know why they made that call. And so, this would be a good learning for India if, let's say, if they are 2-0 up and then they make this change, because, as I said, in some venues, and especially if you're looking to play Kuldeep Yadav and Varun Chakravarti in your combination, they may not be able to do that in some venues in South Africa, which is why such a learning for them if you're trying to emulate the match practice that you would get in cases over there. I think it bode well for India. Looking at the other option in the squad, Yashasvi Jaiswal, I don't know when he'd play if at all, because Rohit Sharma, they're not going to drop him after 3 matches. I think you've got 4 series until the end of July of next year. Virat Kohli, they won't drop. So I don't know when Jaiswal will get a game in. Dhruv Jurel against the West Indies played a fantastic knock. However, Sanju Samson has been part of things in the ODI side, and yet he's touring in the T20 side. You're picking Dhruv Jurel because he scored a century, it looks like, because he's played a few T20I matches for India. Has he been in the scheme of things in white ball cricket for India? I don't think so. So in that case, you've got Sanju Samson in one of the squads, but not the other. I don't understand that. Dhruv is not going to play for a while at least. They may play Harshit Rana ahead of Prasidh Krishna because he was in the squad before Prasidh Krishna. So apart from that, this is the ODI side. Let's see how they'll go. And now for the T20 side. If you're looking at the Asia Cup final, Hardik Pandya was injured. They didn't play Arshdeep Singh, so they went with Bumrah and Shivam Dube being the 2 seamers. In this case, however, let's say if they bring in Nitish Kumar Reddy ahead of Hardik Pandya, you'd have a gamble of Nitish Kumar Reddy, Jasprit Bumrah and Shivam Dube. Would you go with the 2 seamers of Dube and Nitish Kumar Reddy in Australia? I'm not so sure. So in that case, what they could do is they could bring in Arshdeep Singh in ahead of one of the spinners if you want to continue playing Nitish. That would give you the extra frontline seamer alongside Bumrah. You've still got 2 quality spinners in Kuldeep and Akshar Patel. Or what you could do is you could say, in that case, is Nitish Kumar Reddy adding to my bowling that much? And especially, I've mentioned this, given the entry points of players on the day. If you're looking to mix and match and the left-right combinations, for example, we just saw in the Asia Cup that Samson played an innings at number 5, and you got some faith that he could play that role. But beyond that, is Nitish Kumar Reddy number 6 in T20s? No, he isn't. So because Hardik Pandya can play that role, you're bringing in someone who's also a player that I think Nitish Kumar is a number 4 in T20 cricket. So just because he's also a fast bowling all-rounder, can he play in the same position? I don't think so. As I said, especially if they send Dube up for 1 innings and then you send Nitish at number 7, are you going to get much out of him with the bat or bow? I don't think so. And so in that case, Rinku Singh started in the Asia Cup, so he could play and played in Nitish to strengthen the batting. So these are the combinations. I won't be surprised if India play both Varun Chakravarti and Kuldeep Yadav because the conditions here aren't going to emulate what you'll get in the T20 World Cup. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of experimentation going on in the T20 side. So whatever happens with that, we'll have to see. I'm not going to talk about that too much as of now. The only thing I'd say is Shubman Gill's been named as a vice captain. Will he score runs in this series? If he doesn't, then could you revert back to the previous one where Sanju Samson opened, then you can get another one at number, the place that Samson would be batting. So I think that is probably the biggest question mark, but I don't think as far as the bowling is concerned, you can take much from what happens here to the T20 World Cup. And yes, I'm not going to say much more about the T20 squad, but in the ODI squad, I hope Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma score runs. India have got the talent to replace them, of course, but with what they have achieved in a high pressure tournament like the World Cup, when the conditions vary, I'd rather those two play well and are in the squad. I think tactically it'd be very difficult for whoever would be captain to emulate what Rohit Sharma has exhibited in white ball cricket. So we'll have to see how things go. So that is on the squad. Let's see what happens. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, share, friends. This is my opinion. Fuck yours.